Switching sides, switching.
This is that crazy. That's ain't Islam. Yo, babe, look at this.
It is 6ix9ine. It's Treyway.
You right, babe. Wow.
The most dangerous diss in rap isn't a lyric, it's a love story turned into a weapon. And 6ix9ine perfected that game. The bed pics, the tags, the shopping sprees with an enemy's ex. It felt like jokes until the jokes started leaving scars. And in 2025, someone who never asked for smoke got caught in the fallout. This is the blueprint behind the stunts, how a petty playbook snowballed into something nobody could laugh off. They weren't always at each other's throats. Back in 2017, Trippie Redd and 6ix9ine were trading hooks, sharing credits, and building buzz off the eerie energy of Pole's 1469. It felt like a handshake caught on record. Gritty hook, neon chaos. The kind of collab that makes fan bases overlap overnight. For a minute, they looked like they'd run up numbers together for years. Then the comments turned into fault lines. What began as side-eye became public callouts, and the internet picked a front row. Trippie drew a hard line over 6ix9ine's 2015 case. And the splits stopped being private. Posts got sharper, lives got louder, cosigns evaporated. Every snippet sounded like a subtweet, and every subtweet landed like a punch. The same feeds that pushed their collab up the charts now amplified every jab until it felt like the room was only big enough for one of them. By winter, studio chemistry had curdled into strategy, entourages stiffened, DMs turned into say it outside. What had been friendly chaos turned personal, and the audience wasn't just watching, they were keeping score. The bridge was burned, the trenches were drawn, and the next move wouldn't happen in a booth at all. Because what came next took the beef out of the studio and straight into a bedroom. One night in 2018, the trolling went tactile. A phone camera flicked on. A face the internet already recognized slid into frame. Trippie's ex, Alex. No lyrics, no beat, just proximity and a smile that said, "Post this." The point wasn't subtle. It didn't need to be. One tap to record, one tag to make sure it landed exactly where it would hurt. The choices were calculated.
It'd be like hard, like dating a rapper, like a rap star, like a male rapper.
Right, yeah, she's gonna have to deal with it. I mean,
like Trippie Redd been like, he been in the game a minute. Like he got crazy fans too.
Man, they be going crazy. So you already know the groupie lines down the corner after every show.
Sing-alongs to the very songs that once tied these camps together. Inside jokes turned outside. Captions phrased like darts. It wasn't about romance, it was about scoreboard. Not streams, not plaques, feelings. Because feelings trend faster than singles, and humiliation goes viral in half the time. That clip did more than rack views. It rewired the rivalry. Suddenly, the battlefield wasn't a booth, it was the timeline. Comments became ammo, reposts became strategy. Every second of that upload said, "I can get closer to your world than you ever wanted." And the internet handed him a megaphone for it. And once you prove you'll weaponize proximity, the bar moves. People expect the next line crossed. Fans start calling plays from the sidelines. Enemies start circling names in their notes. The beef stops being theoretical and starts living in rooms, hallways, and hotel lobbies. But the cameras weren't done rolling, because the next move put shopping bags, a chain, and a rival's family into the frame. The play got louder and pricier. One day it wasn't subtweets anymore. It was a luxury run with Chief Keef's child's mother, Slim Danger. Filmed like a highlight reel. Bags stacked, receipts flashed. A grin to the camera that said the point wasn't the purchase, it was the message. The clip wasn't coy either, close poses. A signature chain and frame. Captions sharpened just enough to sting on a rival. This wasn't about romance or even flexing wealth. It was about reaching into a rival's real life and shaking the table. It worked because it rewrote the scoreboard. Numbers and plaques got replaced by proximity and pride. Touch someone's family even just for a video, and the internet crowns it checkmate in minutes. Feeds erupted, commentators spun it into think pieces. Memes did laps, but the noise cut both ways. The more viral it went, the more obvious the collateral became. Kids, co-parents, home life dragged under the trend cycle like they were part of the promo plan. And once you prove you'll cross that line, everyone expects the next one.
Him as a man is gonna have to come to terms with that with just him and God. Because I don't want to be a hypocrite because I know what I was doing. But she's my daughter. If you love her and you love the child and you plan on being with her, then, you know, nowadays with social media, it's gonna be hard to do any type of cheating. But if you do it, you just you know, be respectful at it.
So you think being in a monogamous relationship is gonna be hard for them with the pressure
It's hard to be in a monogamous relationship with anybody right now.
Fans dare you to outdo yourself. Enemies stop guessing and start preparing. The beef leaves the booth and plants its flag in the most personal rooms a person has. That's why this stunt mattered. It normalized humiliation as content and made escalation feel inevitable. Then the laughter met a witness stand. The jokes got timestamps, locations, and price tags under oath. 2019 stripped the filters off. No captions, no just trolling, just a witness stand, a mic, and questions that don't care about clout. Under oath, the antics suddenly had outlines. Who called whom, which hotel, which hallway, and why the play was greenlit in the first place. The internet had joked about beef. The testimony sounded like logistics. Dates got pinned down, roles got described. The hotel run-in with Trippie wasn't a rumor anymore. It was mapped like a route. And the Chief Keef situation? Not a meme, an admitted offer, a number attached, the kind of detail you can't laugh off once it's inside a transcript. The flexes that looked like entertainment online now read like plans with price tags. That's the part people forget. Once you walk through this in federal court, you don't get to stuff it back into just content. You've shown your playbook in a room that writes things down. And every name, location, and we pulled up turns into fuel for enemies who don't argue in comments. Cooperation buys leniency on one side and interest on the other. The follower count can't protect you from either. It also changed how fans watched everything after. No more maybe it's fake. The next time a stunt hit the timeline, people didn't see jokes, they saw a fuse. Every selfie, subtweet, and sly caption felt heavier, like it could tip over into headlines by morning.
I know Coy is a one-woman type guy. She's not with the, you know, just, you know what I'm saying, him messing around. So
because, you know, some relationships be
out.
open. She's not with that open
hell
stuff.
no,
She's like, hey, you're mine, that's it.
He later added a piece of advice for the duo.
Yeah.
No, she ain't with it.
Is there any advice you would give to Trippie Redd in dealing with your daughter?
If there was any advice I would give him with Coy being pregnant is to understand that they're gonna go through hormonal changes. Don't take it too personal. If she's flipping out, you know, let it.
The audience wasn't just entertained, they were taking notes. And while those transcripts were still circulating, another storyline was forming, the one that looked like a do-over, a clean slate and a happily ever after, right up until the post said otherwise. The reset looked real. Late summer 2024, their names started showing up together again, quiet at first, then not so quiet. Sleepy FaceTime screenshots, a couple of public polls, a carpet or two where the smiles did most of the talking. Fans called it growth, skeptics called it deja vu. Either way, the algorithm loved it. New Year's Day 2025 turned the volume up. Belly pics, pink balloons, captions that felt like a promise. The comments shifted from "are they?" to "congrats." And for a second, it seemed like the timeline agreed on something. A clean slate, a family arc, the kind of chapter people root for even if they swore they wouldn't. 3 weeks later, the glass spidered. A single story short, sharp, and impossible to misread, sent everyone scrambling for context. Screenshots got treated like affidavits. Old lyrics got recycled as evidence. Friends of friends suddenly had sources. Some posts sounded like comfort. Others read like verdicts. It was messy because heartbreak always is, but heartbreak with a million witnesses turned speculation into sport. Music started carrying subtext. A bar here, a line there. Pain shaped into rhyme schemes that felt too specific to be random. Rumors floated, as rumors do, but the facts were simple. A love story that had just invited the world in was now fighting to breathe with the world still watching. And every new post, every reaction, every "nah, that's cap," only tightened the net. That's the danger of turning personal into public. The audience keeps the receipts even when you're trying to pay in silence. And while this chapter was still spinning online, reunion, reveal, fracture, another headline cut through the noise. It wasn't a subtweet, it wasn't a lyric, it was a late-night call that changed the stakes for everyone in the orbit. It was just before dawn on a quiet stretch of roadway in Mount Vernon, New York. A car on the shoulder, headlights still on. When first responders looked inside, the scene told them this wasn't random. Word from investigators used careful language, targeted. The kind of word that freezes a city because it means someone meant it. Her name was Ariella, known across New York nightlife, recognizable on timelines well beyond it. Not a rapper, not a rival, a working mom with 2 kids and a grind that ran from late shifts to early rides home. Hours earlier, she'd finished a night at a Manhattan lounge.
I didn't like it, you know? It was very like, what the... Right. Because I always thought like, you know, we really had something outside of the music. You feel me? So I'm just like, damn, let's really just go ahead and, can we get to, like, if you got something to say, let's get together and you say.
By morning, her feed turned into a digital vigil. Friends, co-workers, and artists filled the comments with roses and nicknames. Clubs posted slideshows. A certain rainbow-haired figure in this story shared memories and called her a queen. You didn't need to know her to feel the sting. The tributes made sure of that. Police kept the facts tight, no suspect list for the public, no easy narrative to pass around. Just a confirmation that whoever did this wasn't guessing. The message was simple, this wasn't an accident, and it wasn't a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's the part that hit people hardest. For years, the internet laughed along with the stunts, the tags, the bed frame cameos, and luxury hauls. But the further those plays pushed into real lives, the thinner the line became between content and consequence. Ariella wasn't a punchline or a player in anybody's chess game. She was a person who got pulled into the orbit. And when grief meets a timeline, theories grow fast. The next part is where we separate the whispers from what's on record. Grief hits, and the timeline does what it always does. Starts building a case out of vibes. Threads pop up overnight. Clip compilations get scored like documentaries. Anonymous sources start throwing darts at the board. The story people want, revenge, symmetry, payback, spreads faster than the one that's actually documented. Here's the clean split. Rumors suggest old beef finally came due. Posts claim a years-long pattern must point to one answer. But that's internet math, not evidence. What's on record is simpler: a targeted attack, a victim with a life outside the headlines, and authorities keeping details tight. Until there's an arrest, a charging doc, or a press conference that names names, everything else lives in the rumor column. Why this matters: once speculation goes viral, it starts to feel like proof. A recycled clip becomes a receipt. A caption becomes motive. A timeline becomes case closed. That's how real people get tried in comment sections while investigators are still knocking on doors. And it muddies the only thing that actually helps: facts. So we'll do it the disciplined way. We'll separate what fans are saying from what's verified. And when you strip the noise away, a harder truth remains. Even without a neat revenge narrative, the pattern we've watched for years, public humiliation as strategy, private escalation as consequence, still explains why this moment feels so heavy. The playbook didn't need a mastermind to be dangerous. Which brings us to the part nobody wants to hear, but everyone needs to. What it costs when clout turns personal, and why the bill never lands on just one person. Run the tape from the top and the pattern won't hide. Embarrass a rival in public, turn it into a moment, let the algorithm do the heavy lifting. Repeat. At first it feels like a cheat code. Cheap wins, loud headlines, easy streams. But every gotcha stacks interest. Every tag adds someone new to the grievance list. And the internet that cheered the joke won't be there when the fallout shows up at 3 a.m. The currency shifts. Views don't matter when pride's involved. People stop arguing in comments and start keeping score in real life. It's why the bed clips and shopping sprees were never just jokes. They were proof of concept. Once you show you'll use someone's private life as a prop, you invite answers from people who don't speak in captions. The circle widens. Managers, cousins, old friends with old favors, strangers who just want proximity to the storm. Suddenly, the audience isn't just watching, it's participating. And the collateral is never the person who posted the clip. It's the partner who didn't sign up, the co-parent who can't log off, the friend catching strays because they were in the photo. That's why Ariella's name hit so hard. She wasn't a chess piece, she was a person. Proof that the splash zone around clout games is bigger than the players pretend. The same goes for the Coy and Trippie arc. What looked like a quiet reset became a public referendum, with millions grading every move like it was a playoff series. Private pain turned into group project. Here's the part the timeline skips. You can't win a beef built on humiliation. You can only escalate it. The more you one-up the last stunt, the smaller the room gets for a normal life. Clubs feel different. Car rides feel different. Even celebrations feel like someone might be filming for the wrong reasons. You don't just fight enemies, you manage paranoia. So yeah, the bill comes due. Not in views, but in sleepless nights, tighter circles, and headlines nobody wanted. And when it lands, it never lands on one person. It spreads through families, crews, fans who thought they were just here for the music. Which is why the only honest way to end this story is to step past the spectacle and ask what the spectacle cost and who's still paying it after the feed moves on. Clout is a cheap currency until the debt collector knocks. Maybe the lesson isn't that rap beef is bad. We already knew that. Maybe it's that turning love, exes, and family into props doesn't end when the camera rolls out. It lingers, it stacks enemies, it pulls civilians into crosshairs, and it leaves kids asking questions that views can't answer. So as the investigation into Ariela's case continues, and it is still an active targeted attack case, the loudest truth is also the simplest. None of this was just content. It was real life, and real life keeps the receipts. Rumors will swirl, think pieces will multiply, and new songs will sample old pain. But the people who were there, the mothers, the partners, the kids, are the ones who live with the echo long after the timeline moves on. If this story left you thinking about the cost of these public stunts, good, it should. Because behind every gotcha moment is a chain reaction that doesn't care who you love, who you trolled, or how many followers you have when the night ends.